Now imagine I have this sentence here that says if amount is equal to 1,000, then you're wealthy, else you are getting by just fine. The idea is I want to transform this sentence here into a branch in a computer programming. I want to compare a number. If the number is equal to 1,000, then I want to print something that says you're wealthy. If that number is not equal to 1,000, I'm going to say you are getting by just fine. How do we do that? Well, the idea of branching is very interesting. There's another variable that we haven't talked about. Okay, this variable is called a boolean. A boolean is just like a bit, right? In that it holds either true or false. And when we talk about conditions and when we talk about branching, that is the center of everything, because we're comparing two things or more things and then hoping for a result, right? And the result is either going to be true or false, right? You either have $1,000 or not. Of course, there's some other intricacies in between, of course, but the basis of everything here is that we have to have this condition. In order to have a condition, we are expecting to have a result. And this result is indeed a boolean, right? That's what's going to regulate this condition. So in Kotlin, we can say if, right, hit enter, and then we have the parentheses inside here where we can pass in an expression. So inside of this parentheses, we're going to add the condition. If what, then do what. That's where the condition goes. So I'm going to say if amount is equal. How do we say equal? Well, equal, we use double equal signs to say equals, right? Amount is equal to 1,000. Now we have a problem here, but we'll fix that. Then we're going to run a certain code block. So we put inside of curly braces like that. So if this expression here returns true, then whatever it's inside here will run. And then we can say else that, create another block, this will run. Let's create this amount value so we can drive everything. So say amount is equal to 900. Okay, so inside here, I'm going to say print, you are getting by. Else, I'm going to say print. Actually, I'm sorry, this goes down here. I'm going to just put it there. And then here, I'm going to say print, you are wealthy. Okay, let's go ahead and run and see. And you can see you're getting by. Why is that? Well, the reason being is because the amount value is 900. So it's not equal to 1,000. It's less, in this case, 900. Okay, so that's why print you are getting by. It's going to run. This is never run. So we branched now. We use if statement. We were able to branch to make sure that one thing runs if it's true. If it's false, that thing doesn't run. We branch out to another statement. This is a very simple example, but it is a very crucial and one of the most basics of computer science, of programs in general. Because all we're doing, we're comparing data. In this case, what is data? This is our data. 900, the amount. Is data we're comparing. Okay, if amount is equal to 1,000 in this case, this is very simplistic, of course, then you're wealthy. If that's not true, then this happened, right? Now I can go further to say, before this else, because this is the last resort, I can also add here an else if, such if amount is greater than or equal to 1,000, this is when I'm going to say print, wow, you are very wealthy. Let's run this. What do you think is going to happen? Obviously, the same thing is going to happen because you are getting by. It's a 900. Now, if I say 1,000, it's saying here you're wealthy. Why? Because the first if statement we say if amount is equal to 1,000, it's going to say you're wealthy. This amount here, 1,000, it's only equal to 1,000. It's not greater than or equal to. That's why this never runs. Does that make sense? So in this case here, if we want to always to see this running, that means then we have to change the logic here. So I'm going to just get rid of all of this altogether because that's not needed, because that will cover both a person who has 1,000 and a person who has over 1,000, right? So that will cover what we want. So now if I run this, we should see, wow, you're very wealthy. All right. Now, if you want to create a more branched tree here, we can use the when expression. Okay, so I can say something like this, when, and then I'm going to pass the value that's going to be controlling this entire condition, right? Which is amount. So now we can say here, if amount, for instance, is $1, now we have a breadth of conditions that we can catch. We can even say if it's 100, the amount that is being passed is 100. We can say dash greater than sign like this, an arrow, right? I'm going to say print, you have 100. I can continue. If it's 1000, or I can even say 125, I can say print, you are getting there, right? I can continue for many other numbers. So I can catch, in this case, when we use the when expression, we have this possibility of catching many different cases, right? So I can even go 999, print, really close. And then I'm going to say 1000, print, rich, but not there. And anything over, let's say something like that, let's say print, you've made it. And here I can say else. In another case, I can just say, you can pass here an expression if you wanted to. Also say print, I can say amount, right? I can put that, say amount. It's just not going to work, something like that. Okay, so this is just an example to show you that when we use the when expression, we can catch more conditions here. So if the amount is 100, this will print. If it's 125, this will print. 999, this will print, and so forth. So if you comment this out, and let's go and run this, you're gonna see rich but not there, because of course we have 1000. And 1000, it's this one, it's gonna say rich but not there. All right. So this is the beginning of an amazing journey when it comes to programming, because then you will see you have a lot of options, a lot of things you can do to create this branching, right, using an if statement. And of course, in this case, also a when expression here. Okay, so what I want you to do is to play around with this concept. Think, for instance, of an expression that you want to branch, right? So let's say if age is 10 years old, you want to print X. If age is 12, you want to print Y, and so forth. So you can get used to using when and, of course, the if expression as well.